Happy Thursday, everybody. Welcome to Sports Tonight. I'm sports producer Scott Pennyman, dressed exactly like the other sports producer, Lee Smith.
Well, great minds think alike, right?
I know, man. This wasn't even planned, right? I mean,
It was not planned.
I went with the black shirt yesterday, so I'm like, let me wear something different. And I turn around, and you wearing red too.
Hey, man, yeah, that's kind of my fault, but here we are.
It's all good. Hey, let's talk some sports, man. So let's get right into it. So
before we start talking, start talking today, I just have to make a correction. Yesterday, I said my neighbor, Miss Betty Lindbergh, was 92 years old and running the Peachtree Road Race every year. I was completely wrong. She is 98. She is almost pushing triple digits.
You cheated the woman out of 6 years, man.
So I just want to correct that because that's a very gross understatement. Yeah.
Come on, you can't do Miss Betty like that.
I know, man. 98.
She's Miss Betty.
It's impressive.
On behalf of Atlanta News First, I apologize to you. Okay? We cheated you out of 6 years, that you earned. That's a long time to be on Earth, man. I mean, look, I just hope I can go that long, man, and be in good shape and be able to jog like Miss Betty, right? That's crazy.
I know, man. It's crazy.
That's a beautiful thing.
Sorry, how did you say that just before we started?
No, it's cool. That's a beautiful thing. So let's get into a little bit of NBA talk here. So Dame Lillard, we say, as the saga continues for Dame Lillard. So obviously, just give you the backstory real quick. He requested a trade last week from the Portland Trail Blazers. He'd been there for years. Yep. Everyone in the sports world wanted him to force his way out of Portland after years of just falling short of expectations and really falling short of having a championship competitive squad. So he requested a trade, and not only did he request a trade, he requested to be to go right to the Miami Heat. Right? I mean, he was very, very frank in the team that he wanted to go to. But, right now it doesn't seem like the Miami Heat has a lot of trade options to be able to trade for Dame Lillard. So that led to the Portland Trail Blazers to basically say, look, we're going to look around the league and see what other options we have because we don't like what Miami has to offer. Well, that got the attention of Dame Lillard's agent, who is reportedly discouraging other teams for making offers for Dame Lillard, basically saying, look, you guys can trade for Dame Lillard if you want to. You can trade for him. However, you're going to get an unhappy player. Basically trying to push those teams away so that now Miami will be the only team left for them to negotiate with. Now, this is not anything that's rare
last time I
or foreign to the
checked,
NBA,
right, he's a professional basketball player, right?
He is.
So he's getting paid to do this.
That'd be true.
Okay. All right, just checking.
So you're basically saying, look, man, play for whoever's signing your checks, right?
I mean, pretty easy.
Yeah. Well. See, this is a ploy that
you don't have to be happy where you're at, but you do have to actually put forth effort.
That's true. However, in the NBA, like I say, players, especially star players, carry a little more weight than ordinary players. So
sure.
A guy like Dame Lillard, who's making $50-60 million a year, he's kind of, if he gives the impression that he won't give his best effort going to another team, that's going to discourage the team because, look, he's owed about $200 million over the next 4 years. I know if I'm a team like the Clippers and I trade for Dame Lillard and they basically say he's not going to be happy here, now I'm on the hook for paying this fool $200 million for the next 4 years, and he's not going to play hard. So I think that is some sort of leverage because if I'm a team who's going to trade for him and I'm giving you $200 million, I want you to be happy playing basketball,
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, it's basketball and it's a game, right?
To me and you it is, yeah. To me and you.
Man. I'm just saying I'd be pretty happy getting $200 million from whoever gave it to me.
Right. I don't like hockey at all. I don't care what the sport is. If I'm being paid $200 million to play it, I'd be a happy man. But that's guaranteed. He gets his money anyway. So
I take $200 million from like the Tampa Bay Bucks in the 70s when
they were
winless.
When they were terrible, when they were under John McKay
Yes.
and all that stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. But look, I think with the bottom line with all this, though, I think when you just kind of look at this whole spectrum here, this is not anything new. Look, I was a fan of the Cleveland Cavaliers back in 2014. Kevin Love was in Minnesota. It was kind of prearranged beforehand by LeBron James and his people that Kevin Love was going to join him in Cleveland. So what did Kevin Love do? Kevin Love, who was maybe about a year or so away from being out of his contract, basically told teams, look, Minnesota, you can trade me, but if you trade me to a team I don't want to go to, I'm not going to resign there. So he basically used his leverage to get pushed to Cleveland, where he became an NBA champion. When you look at James Harden a few years ago, same sort of thing. He was in Houston. He wanted to get to Brooklyn. They didn't necessarily want to trade him to Brooklyn. He started basically just not playing hard and not looking like James Harden and everything. And he leveraged his way out of Houston to go where he wanted to go. Like I said a few days ago on this show, generally speaking, when you have a star of the magnitude of Damian Lillard, and he wants to play somewhere in particular, chances are he's going to get what he wants because he's powerful enough to be able to leverage his way into the situation where he wants to be.
Yeah, except for the last, seems like 5 off seasons he hasn't been traded. So
yeah, but
I don't know if you can always get what you want.
That's true, but remember, this is the first time that he's come out and publicly demanded a trade. So I think this time it's a little bit different because that sort of murkies the waters up just a little bit. I think the public wanted him to demand a trade about 3 or 4 years ago because I think they realized how much of a mess Portland has been, and he's such a great player. But I think this is the first time, and he's been hesitant to.
I mean, like, what are the
guy,
other places though that he's been rumored to like possibly be in the running for?
So the Clippers have had some interest.
Oh no, L.A.
They said Milwaukee has had some interest too.
Oh no, I have to go play with the best player on the planet. Oh,
hey, look.
All right.
I think Milwaukee would be the best situation for him, honestly.
I mean right?
If you think about him getting with Giannis, I mean, that's a situation where those guys can run some rings off. I mean, when you think about how good he is and that
and
1-2
I don't know
punch.
if Drew Holiday would still be there. So
even if you have to trade Drew Holiday, I mean, just if you could have Damian Lillard and Giannis on the same court for the next 3 or 4 years, that's probably going to be some rings. Yeah, you know. So I know those are 2 of the teams, the Knicks and a couple more teams who really wouldn't be championship contenders necessarily if they traded for him. I know Brooklyn has been mentioned too.
If he's getting traded to like the worst team in the entire league, but he still gets a max contract, I can understand griping and complaining. But like, dude, come on, man.
No, Lee, it's not all about the money, right?
I know it's not all about the money.
It's not all about the money. The guy wants to
especially
win,
what
man.
has he been in, like 10 years? A little over?
Yeah,
maybe
he's been
over
about
10 years now?
and really
so he might
even
not have a whole lot longer. So
he's like 32.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he hasn't even sniffed an NBA championship. So, I mean, I get it. He wants to go to a team, the Miami Heat, right, were in the finals last year, got beat 4-1. I think he thinks, and a lot of people think, that he could be the difference between them being a championship team again. So, yeah, I mean, I get why he wants to be in Miami, but it seems like it's going to be some things left to be worked out. So, we'll see how it goes, right?
Quickly, before we move on, I just got past a note from our producer, Brett. Thank you, Brett. The Hawks just extended DeJounte Murray 4 years for $120 million.
Wow, that's a nice bag. All right, well, looks like he's going to be around
4 years for $120 million. Scott, I'd play anywhere for $120 million.
So that's about $30 a year? Yeah. I mean, look, good for DeJounte Murray. And look, they made that trade for him last year to get him here. So, you know, you make a big trade like that, you got to justify it, right? So, I mean, they clearly like him. They clearly like what he brings to the table. So, it seems like he's going to be here for a while.
I mean, he was a good number 2 last year for sure.
Yeah. So, you know, good for DeJounte Murray, good for the Hawks, good deal all around. So, we'll see how that goes with the Hawks moving into next season. Just kind of moving forward with him and Trae Young in the backcourt, assuming it's him and Trae Young in the backcourt moving forward. It's the NBA. It's off season. It's trade season. You never know how that might go, right?
I don't know if you can assume anything.
So here's something fun I came across earlier, right? Okay. Came across this on social media. So it's been sort of bounced around here.
Social media.
But a question was asked by Legion Hoops, which is Hoops website. Okay. It says, if you were given the option to just get $1 million up front, right? Just get $1 million for doing nothing. Mm-hmm. Or you can go for $20 million. However, you have to score 15 points in an NBA game playing 48 minutes. You do that, you get $20 million. But if you don't do it, you get nothing.
That's not even a question, dude.
What are you taking?
I'm taking the $1 million straight up. You're not scoring a 15 points in an NBA game.
You'd be amazed, though, at how many people.
I'd be amazed if you could get fouled and make some free throws because that's all you're going to do.
Would they even have a reason to foul you? I mean,
no.
it's not like
that's what I'm saying.
They're
not going to foul you. That's the only reason. The only way a normal, everyday, average person is going to get 15 points in an NBA game is if, like, I mean, it would have to be like something insane would have to happen. like the all the stars would have to align. All the planets would have to align. There's no way.
I mean,
Well, yeah.
Brooks.
Play
Come
against
on,
Dylan
man.
Brooks and get fouled. Yeah, sure.
Right, and just think about guys who play basketball all the time,
Dude, I couldn't even score 15 points in the rec league. We were playing with everybody else.
I was just thinking about
the other
that.
day.
Yeah.
You're talking. How am I going to do it against NBA team?
I was just thinking about that. I think that's what I put on the post when I was on the thread when I commented. I said I just went. I said I'm 44 years old. I just went 0 for 3. From the field in a pickup game about 2 weeks ago against guys in which none of those guys I don't think were over 6'5". So I can just imagine on an NBA floor against skilled NBA players trying to score any points,
now,
let alone 15 points.
If you're going 15 bricks, I can throw those up.
Yeah, I mean it's really kind of
15 points. There's no way.
But let me tell you, look, it was really.
What are you counting like normal baskets? 2 points.
Yeah, I mean
3 is 3.
Yeah, it's just regular. It's just regular NBA scoring.
No,
you know, it what's kind of funny is look on social media, you get all kind of people that make it seem like they're so good at the sport, right? You see so many people there that were like, oh, I can get 15 points. I mean, I get fouled here, hit a 3 here, is no problem. I don't think people understand how hard it is to play against other NBA players.
Yeah.
I used to play, even back when I was 22 and 23 years old, I would play summer basketball. I went to Cleveland State University, right? So we'd have rec ball over at Cleveland State, and that was a Division I school and stuff. And a lot of the players who played for Cleveland State at that time would come over and play basketball with us, or even a lot of former players.
Yeah.
And those guys looked unstoppable against regular people. I mean, we're talking about Division I college basketball players who didn't even get a sniff at the NBA. We're looking unstoppable playing against normal people. So I could just imagine regular people going against NBA level talented players, basically some of the most gifted 200-something players in the world at the game of basketball. There's no way you're going to be able to get 15 points.
The short end, you're going to be going up against somebody who's 6'4".
Right.
On
exactly.
the very shortest. Like,
those are the small guys,
yeah.
you know?
No.
Yeah, I mean, that's not happening.
Could you imagine Giannis comes up, he's like all
Smacks
7
the ball
feet
out
of
your
him,
hand.
you know, you're just trying to get it over. No way. No way.
Yeah, so that's not happening, man. You know, people all the time. I don't get these people on social media that just make it seem like it's easy to score points against NBA talent.
Well,
it ain't
people
happening,
get to stay anonymous behind a keyboard, and that's usually confidence booster right there.
Keyboard thugs, right? All right, let's move on. So there was a list here of the basically the best backup, and I got to pull this up again here because basically, you know, this is silly season for pretty much anyone who writes sports, right? Any of these websites, they got to come up with content, right? So basically, they came up with the top 5 backup quarterbacks in the NFL, right? And the Atlanta Falcons' own Tyler Heineke ended up at number 5. That means the Falcons have one of the best backup quarterback situations in the NFL. What do you think about that?
So before we start the season, they're already top 5 in something. That's got to be good, right?
Right.
Although it's not good when your backup quarterback is the one they're talking about.
Yeah, I mean,
it's good to know that, like, in a pinch, you can have somebody who steps up and actually performs well, but, like, let's be honest. If you got a backup quarterback in, there's a chance that your day's not going exactly how you wanted it.
Exactly. I mean,
but he's proven he can step in and get some dubs. When he was with the Redskins, I just remember, like, who's this guy? Oh, okay, cool. He just finished with like 300 yards, a couple of touchdowns, a pick, and they won the game. Okay,
right.
Cool. I'll take that every time.
Well, it's kind of funny when you look at the list here. I have it in front of me. So, number 1, they have Trey Lance or Sam Darnold. I don't know about that because we don't really know at all.
We don't even know what Trey Lance is.
We don't even know what Trey Lance. The guy's played like, what, 1 or 2 games already?
Yeah.
Just a couple games?
Yep.
Andy Dalton, number 2. Okay, I'll give him that one, you know. Tyler Huntley at number 3. Now, he's a solid backup with the Ravens.
Yep.
Now, I like this guy, Jacoby Brissett, who was playing quarterback for my Browns last year. He did a solid job. I mean, about as good of a job as you can expect.
Hey, he did a lot better than Deshaun did.
Well, that's true. That's actually true. That's actually
It wasn't
true.
even close, dude. Granted, he hadn't played football in a whole year.
Maybe he should move up the list, honestly. I think maybe
honestly,
Jacoby Brissett
I
should
like
move up.
Brissett to be a little higher, yeah.
Yeah, so that's where they have him. And then they got Heineke at number 5. And just some of the guys behind him, you got Marcus Mariota at 6. Former Falcon there, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean,
He was solid.
I think anyone who has started a decent amount of games is probably going to be a little bit high on this list, right? I mean, Mitchell Trubisky at number 9.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty solid for where his skill set is, but that's kind of a drop because he was a number 2 overall pick in the draft, and I think that was 2017.
It's definitely a disappointment.
Right.
You don't want to be a backup that soon in your career, but I mean.
Not just that. How are you a number 2 overall pick in the 2017 draft, and you're number 9th on the backup quarterback list?
Hey, man, just because
that's
you're number
tough.
2 pick doesn't mean you're going to be number 2 quality.
Clearly. And it's funny, I saw Mitchell Trubisky play in high school, right? He's from the Cleveland area, went to Menor High School. Mitchell Trubisky looked like a grown man in high school. Like, I mean, this dude was throwing for 450 yards as a senior in high school. I mean, I thought he was going to be.
Scott out there for 400 in high school one time.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, did you really?
As a lineman.
Okay, come on. Don't exaggerate. Did you really throw for 400 yards in high school?
Yes.
Yeah. Wow, okay. All right.
No, but I did fall on a fumble one time for a touchdown.
Okay,
so
well,
I had
okay,
scored.
same thing.
I have scored.
That's
So
same
there's
thing,
that.
right? Same thing. Okay, so we won't, But yeah, I mean, just some of these backups on this list, guys like Tyrod Taylor. Now he was, that's another guy. He's kind of fallen in recent years because he probably
Yeah.
hasn't played much. But he was a really solid starting quarterback for many years. I don't even know C.J. Beathard a whole lot.
C.J.
for the
Beathard
Jaguars.
out of Iowa.
Yeah, I mean he's decent.
Never start.
Cooper Rush at 15 for the Cowboys. He actually did a pretty good job when he had to start at quarterback for the Cowboys when Dak Prescott went down before. So my poor Browns have Josh Dobbs as their backup. So I don't really, from Tennessee. So
Well, that's the best Tennessee can do is backup quarterbacks.
You hear that, Brett? Oh man, So. Okay, he's bringing up. Peyton
I don't
Manning
know
now,
anybody in the last 2015.
Yeah,
Almost a decade. Okay.
Look, it's been a while. So yeah, I mean, look, there's a lot of journeymen on this list.
Who'd you miss? Who's number 30?
Oh, okay.
Tell us number 30 right now.
So number 30 is Stetson Bennett.
Oh, there you go. Georgia fans, Stetson Bennett, number 30.
I mean, how do you really?
Right.
It's really
You
kind of
don't know.
hard because nobody
you don't
really
know.
knows what he is. I mean, he may be a starter at some point. So the poor Bucks have Kyle Trask at 31. They may call him Kyle Trash at some point, depending on how things go there with him. But
you know what's bad is that so if Kyle Trask is 31st for the backups, if he actually ends up winning the job from Baker Mayfield somehow, where's Baker Mayfield going to end up?
Oh man, he's like 60-something at that point, right? I mean, if he falls that far.
No, I mean, where would Baker Mayfield be on the backup list?
Yeah, I don't know.
Top 10?
Top
5?
I would think so. Starting quarterback in the league for many years, won a lot of games. You would think so, but who knows, right?
And he's the number 1 pick overall.
Yeah. Think about Zach Wilson. He's at 29th on the backup quarterback list. Zach Wilson was a number 2 overall pick just a few years ago, and Zach Wilson is 29th on the backup quarterback list. That's pathetic.
Starter like 2 months ago before Aaron Rodgers got there.
Right, exactly. This guy was a starting quarterback just not too long ago, and he's 29th on the backup quarterback list. I don't get it, man.
Dude, could you imagine that? Being a starter and then boom, Aaron Rodgers walks in and now you're like someone's 29th best backup.
Oh man, that's crazy.
What?
I'm so thirsty, man. So
It's a little hot out there.
Yeah. So really good list, right? So Tim, came across this one too. The Falcons' Twitter was kind of crazy, right? So they basically came up today and they said, pick your Atlanta Falcons Mount Rushmore. So that leads me to thinking that's one of those things that just leaves kind of a newsroom getting to think. So Lee, who's on your Atlanta Falcons Mount Rushmore?
All right, I got 4 people, and I know one is not going to be everyone's favorite. So first one I will go with is Morton Anderson, the kicker.
Wow.
Yeah, who is
I didn't think about that.
widely regarded as the best kicker of all time.
That's true.
And he played 6 seasons with Atlanta. So, yeah, he played. Yeah, wait, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so he's one of just a couple of people who were on 2 all decade teams for the 80s and the 90s.
Okay.
7 Pro Bowls, 25 seasons. 25 seasons. What?
That's crazy. I can't imagine anybody playing football that long.
No. Even a kicker, what?
I'm going to step out and get my list. One second. Keep going.
I got you. All right, so let's see. He was with, 6 seasons. And then, 2 more, so 8. He finished his career as a Falcon. So he went 8 total seasons here. Let's see. So I would put Morton Anderson first. Then I would go Deion Sanders.
Oh, he's on both our lists.
I would hope so.
Yeah.
That would be a no-brainer. So we'll just go ahead and skip him. I mean, it was.
Yeah, I mean, no explanation.
No. My third one is Tommy Nobis, who is Mr. Falcon.
I got you. Yep.
So, but I mean, he played well before most people now really know who he was. Don't know who he was.
I heard him when I first got here, so that's what kind of hit me to who he was.
So, let's see. His stats are kind of crazy, but this was even before they started recording sacks as an official stat.
Right, they didn't start that till like 1982, right?
Right. So let's see. Okay.
My man got to the quarterback, didn't he?
He did, but he played a good bit too, and that was the other thing. Let's see. All right, so he played 11 years in the NFL, all at linebacker, and he's the first pick in the 66th draft.
That was a long time ago, man.
It
1966.
was a long time ago, man. So he actually was NFL Rookie of the Year, and the Falcons were 3-11 that year.
Wow.
3-11, and he's still the Rookie of the Year.
That could be like this year's Falcons.
I know, right? Well, I don't know. This year's Falcons will be better than that. Come on, man. Give him a little more credit than that.
I'll give him a little more credit.
He made 5 Pro Bowls, All-Pro twice, and made the 60s All-Decade team.
Okay.
Maybe not quite a first ballot Hall of Famer. He's actually not in the Hall of Fame at all, so that's kind of crazy.
Seems
so
like
tackles weren't even a recorded stat then.
Yeah, that was
not just sacks, tackles like in general.
Yeah.
But this article says he had 1,688 tackles in his career.
That's a lot.
That'd be more than Ray Lewis.
Wow. Okay. I can get with that.
And officially, Ray Lewis is number 1 in career tackles. So that's kind of a crazy stat. That kind of popped out to me.
Okay.
And then my last one is Julio Jones.
Okay. So I'll just run mine off real quick here. So I'm going Matt Ryan. I'm going, obviously, help lead them to their second Super Bowl.
Yep.
Deion Sanders.
Yep.
I'm going Mike Vick because of just what he was to Atlanta at that time. And I'm going Julio Jones like you. So we had 2 of the same guys there.
Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, I think that kind of wraps up kind of what we thought about Atlanta Falcons football over the last however many years, So it is what it is, man. I mean, I think let's hope that some of these current Falcons can maybe find their way on that list at some point.
Yep.
We'll see, right? So
you don't have the best kicker ever on your list? That's man.
I didn't think about a kicker. I wasn't thinking about specialists at that time. I mean, I don't know. I wasn't really thinking about specialists. So let's go ahead here. Brett's gonna wrap us up soon. So what's on your mind?
Ooh, what's on my mind? Okay, all right. So I stole this from Brett actually. So this is not, but it's on my mind now. So apparently there was a study that. And I guess most athletes, especially high school athletes, are going to understand this. All right, so you're really tired after you've been sprinting all day, lifting weights, whatever. All right, so when you're tired, what do? You bend over and you try and get all the breath that you can possibly get.
Right.
All right. Well, then, of course, your coach, being super old school, tells you to put your hands on top of your head and stand up straight. Well, guess what, folks? That's wrong. Completely false, and you actually improve your breathing. you breathe better and faster when you're hunched over and actually looking like a, quote, pansy. Thanks, Coach Burrows. So you don't understand how many times in my life I've been told, like, stand up, stand up, stand up, stand up.
You were lied to.
Like, I was lied to. We were all lied to. All of us. All of us. Not cool. But that's okay. See, we learn and we get better, right?
Yeah. Hey, man, that's how it goes, you know.
So many summers. God.
So I go with what's on my mind here, right? You know what's on my mind? What's on my mind is I just drank so much water right here, just now, right? I mean, I just drank about 3 thermos of water, and I'm gonna have to go take care of that here.
Oh, what?
I gotta get this, man. I drank way too much water, man. I always drink so much water for a show.
Okay, that's a little close to home. All right,
I know, man.
Cool.
Hey, look, I'm just being honest today.
He's got to go to the bathroom.
So that's
all right,
what's
so
on
I guess
my
we're going to
mind.
cut a little bit short because Scott's got to go.
It's only like 2 minutes short, okay? I mean, look, we got everything in. We got the Falcons, Mount Rushmore in. We got the best backup quarterbacks in. We got Dame Lillard in.
Out of all the possible things that came out of your mouth right there, that's what you ended with.
That's what I ended with, man.
Fantastic.
I tell you what, now I'll see everybody.
Hey, you're not going to get that anywhere else.
That's exactly
right here.
Well, look,
Sports Tonight.
Well, look, that's been Sports Tonight on a Thursday. I will be back here tomorrow night, and we'll bring up some more sports topics, and we'll talk about some more stuff. Bye, Lee.
See ya.
Bye, guys.